Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's presentation. Recently, I read The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, and it was one of the best books I've read in my entire life. This book is about your internal battle of self-sabotage, writer's block, procrastination, whatever you want to call it, and how to win over it. Now, this book spoke to me the strongest in an area that has absolutely nothing to do with YouTube or Spanish, but as I was reading it, I kept on thinking that so much of what this book is saying can be applied to learning languages. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do in this video. I'm going to try to apply the message of this book into language learning and present it to you guys. Welcome to my TED Talk. I actually have a whole ass script for this, so I'm going to be reading from that. The purpose of this video is simple. It's to identify why we procrastinate so much when we're trying to learn a language. If you're actually a disciplined human being that doesn't struggle with procrastination, first of all, I want to be you, and second of all, this video is not for you. It is for my fellow procrastinators, and honestly, I'm doing this video for myself. I think that I need to understand why I am so bad at being consistent when I have a goddamn YouTube channel dedicated to learning Spanish. And also, this video is going to be pretty theoretical. I have a bunch of practical tips that I picked up along the way, but it's a long list, and so I think it deserves a whole separate video. So if you're interested to learn about the practical tips, then subscribe to me. The video would come at some point. Anyways, in The War of Art, the biggest keyword is resistance. Resistance is what keeps us from doing things. For example, if you're a writer, it's not the writing part that's hard. What's hard is sitting down to write. And what keeps you from sitting down is resistance. This can be something as big as a career, like starting a business or becoming an artist, but it can also be things that aren't as big. In fact, I think it can be multiple things, big and small. For example, going to the gym to get a six-pack, taking an online course on how to get better at photography, starting a YouTube channel, or even just like reading more, anything. All these things that aren't immediate gratification, a dopamine hit, but rather something that's about a long-term growth, health, or creativity. All of these, you will experience resistance. And I think language learning is definitely one of them. In the very beginning of the book, the author says that we all have our unlived lives. In this case, it's a life where we speak another language. For me, it's when I'm fluent in Spanish. In my mind, I know that this is totally possible to do. Many people have done it in the past. All I have to do is study every day. And I know that technically I can find 30 minutes a day to study. But the thing is, it doesn't feel that simple because I feel resistance every single day. And resistance is self-sabotage. We feel resistance, especially when it's something we really want. This book explains that the most common manifestation of resistance is procrastination. We never think, I'll never ever study Spanish. What we do think is, I'll do it tomorrow. And the fatal thing about this is that it becomes a habit. The author commands us to respect the power of resistance, because if we cave in today, then we'll definitely cave in tomorrow. Steven Pressfield tells us to embrace that resistance and face it. There are three main lessons that I took from this book about learning a language. 1. The goal isn't victory. The goal is to handle yourself. This is about realizing that your goal shouldn't be fluency, but rather it should be to confront your self-sabotage every single day. It's about studying today. In my opinion, how much you study is not the point. You can study for 3 hours one day, and the next day all you manage to do is listen to a little bit of a podcast for 5 minutes or learn 2 new words. The hardest part is sitting down. It's opening the app. It's pressing start on that audio course you're doing. It's booking an italki lesson. Lesson number 2, don't compare yourself. There's a section in this book where the author goes on and on about the concept of hierarchy versus territory, but what it's basically saying is don't compare yourself. In a video that I made in the past, there's a part where I rant about how annoying it is to see YouTube videos claiming that they learned a language in 2 weeks. And my reasoning was that it's demotivating for me because those videos just make me feel like a dumb piece of crap. And that's exactly what you should not do. When you were in high school, maybe you were a super motivated student and got the best grades in French class, but that's out of like 20 kids. We live in a mass society. We live in the age of the internet. There are way too many people who are smarter than you, faster at learning than you, or just have a better environment than you. There is no point in comparing yourself. Don't think Emmy Grace is so much faster at learning Spanish than me. And even the opposite, I think think is true. Thinking that, thank God I'm doing so much better than Emmy Grace. Both are damaging. Just enjoy your own journey. It's not a competition, so don't make it one. Lesson number 3, the task will take longer than you think, and that's okay. There's a part where the author talks about patience. He says that a person who has beat resistance knows that any job takes twice as long as they think. They accept that. They recognize it as reality. When I initially started learning Spanish, when I started this YouTube channel, I had a plan that I was going to be in a B2 Spanish level in 6 months. Well, it's been 8 months and I am still not there. And that's fine. It literally is taking me twice as long. And I feel like if I didn't have this YouTube channel, I would have used that as an excuse to quit. I mean, it's just taking too long. I'm just bad at studying a language, you know? But this book says that that's just what happens and you have to accept that as reality. Resistance is the voice in your head that gives you all the reasons conceivable to not start. Steven Pressfield says the resistance reasons with you like a lawyer, and I think that's a great description. It's the voice that tells you, you're not good at learning a language, you're not smart like those polyglots, you're practically an Olympic champion on procrastination, you'll give up anyway, it'll take too long, it's a waste of your time, it's too difficult, it's not a required skill for the career you're going into, it's not even a useful language, when are you going to use it? Why don't you learn a more practical language? That is resistance. That's the voice of resistance that's telling you that. And again, if you feel resistance, take it as a sign. You experience more resistance when it's something you really want to do. The more resistance you feel, the more you need to do it to honor yourself. Your goal is to study today, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It's to listen or to speak or to study, just to expose yourself to Spanish today. I'm here giving you a presentation on why you're procrastinating, but I am literally no better than you. Do you know what I did today? Instead of studying Spanish, I made a whole ass YouTube video on why I think I procrastinate learning Spanish. No, but I will study Spanish now. I will study Spanish now. Stay motivated. This video is meant to be motivating. Don't be like, haha, relatable. Study your Spanish.